Hey guys, welcome back to the daily drive again. I am on my way back. Started from a different area today, so I was telling someone actually today that oh, there you go, little meeting scenario. That's nice of them. I was telling someone today actually sometimes I'm starting from the same places, so which is one of the reasons why I don't add on a video almost every day, because it can get a bit tedious. But you know, some of the feedback I've been getting has been quite good. Everyone seems to be liking the daily drives, so hopefully, there's a little side road there, hopefully we'll come across some meeting scenarios here today. It's usually a bit tight around this area, but let's see. I bet now that I'm doing the video it's going to be really easy and simple. So can't see anything on this road. Always remember, if I can't see, I've had a lot of students that can't see and they're starting to go out like this without looking on the left hand side. You have to check both sides, okay? When you're coming up to any of these roads, reflections in parked cars, looking on both sides, making sure it's safe. When you can't see both sides, you need to think about almost stopping. You can't enter a road without actually checking both sides, okay? And one of the main reasons is there you go, meeting scenario. One of the main reasons is you've got to factor in that someone could be overtaking, like that car could overtake something and be in my lane, and that's where the danger is. Okay, so I'm going to check that side, I'm going to check the left side as well. So as we edge out, I can now see the red car, and I'm going to wait again. There's a car opposite, but she seems to be turning to her left, which is my right, so I'm not worried about her at the moment. It's clear after this car. Check back again, smoothly out, and off you go. Sometimes the moving of the head when I'm looking around, I look a bit quick, and so it gets a bit jarring on the video. So a shout out to Nana. I think that was something that I was saying it can affect you a little bit, but she was saying it was right. So there we go, someone's pulling out. Hazard there, hazard over there on the left. Let's go left, because then that should hopefully give us a few more meeting scenarios. I'm looking in, no one's crossing at the moment. Now parked cars on one side says there's space for me to go, but if a car was coming, it would be a bit tight. We're gonna go straight ahead. I can see reflections far ahead. I'm sure you guys saw that as well. And now I'm gonna check behind. I'm gonna calmly come up to this space. They're over the line, or on the line, so I'm gonna kind of make it a bit slowly as it goes, slowly as I go out. And then look at that car, they were looking to park, so I could either wait for them, let them go. There we go. And that's easier, then they're out of your way. It's a nice car as well. Now I'm looking around the corners, I'm looking at reflections in the parked vehicles. Tiny bit of a brow of a hill, so I'm looking not to go too fast. Take my time. Car over there, people walking. This is a pure hazard perception. Look at that car just swinging out, wow, right in front of them. And then there's lights coming up from in front, so I've spotted that as we're going further ahead. Oh, I think I know that student. And then all clear now. Potholes on the ground. You name it, you have it around here. It's all here. Kids playing over there. Then if you spotted that on the side, look at that. So you never want to go too fast. They can just see someone and run straight across. So I'm being a bit cautious. Their friends are over there, scanning both sides, making sure, and then carrying on again. You have to look out for those, okay? It can be really dangerous. So now coming up, and oh, I should have taken that turn, but we'll take the next one. So we are gonna join a dual carriageway. This one's going to be a tough one. It's often busy. I think I've done this one before where I've joined it. So let's see. Now we're going to come up to the end, and yeah, you can tell places are usually busy when you get a bit of traffic. So let's see how it goes. Alright, now it's flowing in. Now one really important thing which I wanted to point out, never take your eye off the car in front when you want to join a junction, because you might actually see there's an opportunity to go, and you're like, oh great, they're going to go, and so I will go right behind them, and the car in front decides not to move, for example, they hesitate or something, and you go straight into the back of them, or if they stall or something like that. So now I've got a potential chance. That car's far, and then I'm off. So yeah, so that's a really important thing when you're joining a junction, especially like places like roundabouts or slip roads. The car in front, let them actually go first, and then you start looking at your junction as they've gone, because if you start moving first and then the car in front suddenly decides, oh no, that wasn't an opportunity for them, they'll suddenly stop the car and you might go flying into the back of them. I've been hit almost like it's like more than 10 times in this driving career, mainly because the student has come up to a junction, decided to go, stall the car, and the car behind thought we were gone and they've come straight into the back of us, or the car behind has seen an opportunity arise, expected us to move, and we edged a bit because we were thinking about it, and that's kind of, then they've gone straight into the back of us again. Now look at the speed now I'm doing now, it's 26. It's a 40-mile-an-hour road. I could potentially think about overtaking a bus. If I have a little glance around on this bend, there's vehicles ahead of the bus, so I won't be able to come back. So before thinking about overtaking, think about I'm just going to turn here so we get a few more scenarios popping up, because I wanted to do a junction, which I've done before, but a bit of a shout out to Adam, who had requested Hendon Central to be done, and then they said that I'd already covered that in one of the daily drives, so that was good. But it's on my way back anyway, so I might as well do it again. So look at that car, poor guy or girl. There we go, tighter scenarios here, going slow, okay, nice and relaxed. They're pulling in weird, I don't know what they're doing there, and then they're moving out from that car, I think. So now it's tight here. Look, if in doubt, leave it out, just kind of gently stop, give that gap from that car. It's the biggest fault I see in all learners. It's a very normal thing, because their family or friends will do this. Look, I'll give you an example. They'll wait for a car, for example, they'll come up, and then they'll come out like this, okay? And don't do that, trust me. Stay back, give yourself almost like a car gap, and then if in doubt, just wait, otherwise make a decision to go. There we go, and I can use the second lane here, and done. All right. So just I've mentioned that countless times on meeting scenarios, that you need to make sure you have a nice gap from the parked vehicles. That is the side the examiner will be sitting at, or in. I was actually going to place the camera in a position where the examiner sits, but I don't think the video was looking like it was turning out to be that good, so I just kept it on top of my head. Sometimes I might, you guys don't realize how close you get. I had it once many years ago. That car suddenly stopped. I had it once many years ago, where a student constantly got close to parked cars all the time. Tried my best to get them away, gave them all the tricks, try and go over the lines, get closer to the cars that are coming, fight that fear, which is a natural fear of any vehicles coming towards you, and it wasn't working. And in the end, I just thought, you know what, they don't realize what we're going through as passengers. So I swapped seats. I got them to sit in the passenger seat, and then I drove on the side roads, and I got extremely close at high speed to the parked vehicles, and they freaked out. And I said, this is how you are driving, and this is what you don't realize because you're sitting in the driver's seat far away from the cars. But as a passenger, me as the teacher and as a passenger, I'm experiencing this high level of danger and stress that you're getting super close while you're driving quick. And as soon as I did that, it was almost like those light bulb moments, or eureka moments, where they then realized, it finally sunk in about what I was saying about trying to stay back from the vehicles, and never after that did they get close to the car, which was really good. So it's all about, I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet, but it's like you have to teach every individual according to their needs, and some people will understand by just the words, some people need live examples, etc, etc. So something to think about, something to keep in mind. If you don't understand something with your teachers, and you're struggling with it, maybe get them to do if say for example it was a roundabout, ask them to do it once. You sit on the side and let them do it, and you just watch how they do it. Tell them to commentate through the procedure, and you just see how calmly and smoothly they will do it. And if they can do it, you can do it. I've always gone by that sort of saying, and I do that whenever I do sports. If I can see someone doing something, I'm like, okay, I should be able to do it technically. Obviously the skill level has to get there, but if they can do it, I can do it. This is a silly example, but when it came, I was doing a bit of ice skating and I wanted to go fast around the corner as I'm going, and you have to overlap your feet constantly in ice skating to sort of get any speed and traction and grip. And I used to struggle with it, and then I copied and saw the way a few experienced I wouldn't say pro ice skaters, but really good ice skaters were doing it, hockey skaters I should say, and they were just ripping around those corners up in Alexandra Palace, and I tried to just copy them. A couple of times I buckled and I fell, and then it just clicked and I just managed to find my footing. I was overlapping, going around the corners, and I was like, if they can do it, I can do it. So right, this is the Hendon Central Junction. This is the one Adam was talking about, or asking me about. You guys won't know, but we're coming up. I'm going to enter slowly. I'm going to enter my position, and there's no light facing us, so I don't know when the traffic light's changing. So I'm going to wait until either they are stopping or slowing down a lot that I think that they're going. Okay, I'm going to stay still. I'm not going to encroach in front of the bus. Can't see past the van, so I might edge a bit, and then they're far away and I'm off. There we go. Checking my mirror on my left just to make sure no one's overtaking me, and then I'm into the left lane. Now, hazard ahead, look far ahead, mirror check. We're going to go out. Another thing you can do, because this area is always busy, if you know the area and you have your test in Hendon, just come into the middle lane, no problem. Tell the examiner there's often parked cars and hazards on the left. Just go directly into the middle lane and return back after those parked cars are done. And you just tell them that from the beginning. I'm just used to trying to go into the left lane, or trying to show you guys that you should go in the left lane. But as pointed out by Adam, one of my viewers, he was saying that there's always parked cars and hazards and everything there. Don't feel compelled that you have to go and use that lane. So that's really, really important. Middle lane can be a lot easier as long as you just voice out what you're saying to the examiners. Then they know that you haven't just forgotten to come back. So I would just suggest that as you enter the middle lane, you're talking to yourself. You're not going to get any response from them, so you kind of just literally say, oh, the cameras are flashing, police went through. You're just kind of saying to yourself that, okay, I'm going to go into the middle lane, I'm just going to come back after those parked cars because there's always some hazards there. And then if you notice there's no hazards there, calmly come back, no problem at all. You don't have to stick to the middle lane all the way through until those parked cars are finished, because some of them are nicely tucked in and parked away quite well. So just plan ahead. As some have been saying, with experience and from the number of years I've been driving, when I do need to lane change, I can think quickly. I'm looking far ahead. As you notice, when I came into that road, I looked straight all the way up the road, and that helps me make my decision very quickly, alhamdulillah. So it's just one of those things that when you have experience, you think quicker on your feet, and so for you guys as beginners and learners, it's hard to think that quickly. You're doing one step at a time as it unfolds in front of you, and so technically kind of cheating the system, if you kind of think of it like that, by using the middle lane and then coming back later, is a very viable and sensible way of dealing with tough scenarios. So yeah, it's something to keep in mind. 30 mile an hour sign, drop the speed down, and it's still high. There we go. Downhill, so cover your brake pedal, hold it. One of my students the other day said, I'm off the gas pedal, it's still high. I was like, yes, so use your brakes. So sometimes cars do not slow down quick enough, and so you do need to make sure that you end up utilizing your brakes when you need to. Okay, arrows on the ground, so if there's cars near me, they're going to try and come in, so something to think about. Okay, and one thing I really want you guys to be aware of, which I've noticed today actually a lot, spatial awareness and what's happening around your car, especially behind you. You need to know what is happening behind your car. Not saying look all the time, but like I know there's a car there and I know what's happening on the side of me. Okay, super important, because when you are driving, things change a lot and you need to know whether you're going to be able to move out here or there. So it's really good to kind of every now and then just have a glance I don't know if you can see from my head movements, but I do quite look a lot at the back. It's just a habit. I'm going to take this road here, so see if we get any meeting scenarios, because it's a tough one. Can't see in the road, so I'm looking to go slowly. Look, nice. I'm looking out and then I go. Okay, I don't commit in one go. And this is someone who's got experience, so if I'm doing it that slow, what stops you guys doing it that slow? There is no compulsion to go fast. Look, car coming, I'm scanning. Potential chance to go here, potential to go there. I'm going to move in now. I've got enough space to do that. Big gap from this car in front of me. Nice and easy. Get my car straight, level, so that the back is also in. Okay, if I'll give you a quick example now, there's no one behind at the moment. So if I pull in and I pull in like this and keep my car like this, the back of my car, if you see in the mirror, is angled out. Okay, it's not going to help the car trying to squeeze past this little gap here. So when you come in and straighten up. Okay, now we're looking down the end of the road. This is pure meeting scenario, this road. Okay, ice cream van. With ice cream vans, there's always kids or big adults. So for see this, and now I just spotted those feet underneath that vehicle there. Right, now we've got a scenario here. They're waiting for me, perfect. So I'm going to check behind as well, carry on, and then off we go. They've got a little angle there, so I'm going to come in a little bit wide so I can get my angle in as well, and then smoothly in. Can't see past the van, using reflections, peeking out, see if there's anything there, carrying on as we do. Done. Okay, another blind sort of junction here, can't really see anything, so I'm going to check both sides. I'm going to check that side as well, scan, all good, and off we go. Okay, then we're going to take the next left. Can't see in the road, so I'm not looking to go fast. It's a wider berth, it's a bit easier looking into the road, and easy. Okay, these roads are actually the most important part of your driving initially, because they are so difficult, because they're so blind. Big roundabouts and things like that, you know, we can deal with. Some people do find them difficult, but you know, these sort of things are, I think, the trickiest part. There we go. And those are all those meeting scenarios. Hope that's helped you guys. Another car coming in, they've got space to pull up there for me, and then I'll come over here. So yeah, hope that's helped, and hopefully I try and keep up more with these daily drives, as a lot of you guys have been saying, you know, Nana, Ardently, Austin and Adam have all been commenting or telling me that, you know, no matter what, just, you know, get those videos out, because every little bit helps. Sometimes I might say one thing and it just registers with you guys, and that's, you know, probably all that you'll need. There's a guy crossing, he's waiting, and then off we go. So yeah, so hopefully I shall see you guys on the next daily drive. Bit of a meeting scenario here, so just before I go, let's just see. There we go, surprise, look behind, loads of space here, utilizing their signaling. So I'm going to edge a bit further so they can go behind my car. That's also something to think about. Often, I'll give you another example. Sorry, I'm talking 100 miles an hour. If someone stops here, for example, to give way, students hardly ever look behind them. So if the car is trying to get past and there's another vehicle behind me, or there's a scenario situation where there's, you know, loads of cars blocking up right behind me, I will need to then go forwards a little bit here, then the car will go past, and then I can actually come out. I don't know if that made any sense, but yeah, just keep that in mind. So hopefully I'll try and cover that another time, but those scenarios where you need to check behind so you can edge forwards a little bit can also help. So hopefully that helps. Let's see if I can do a quick little parallel park. I'll do a fast one. So so I'll park up here, signal on, reverse gear, so I see a car coming, and then let's see if they wait for me. They're coming quite quick in the mirror, so I'll wait for them, and now they're waiting for me. So I'm going to go all the way back to my reference point, and now I'm going to turn it all the way back out and say thank you to them. And good job done. Perfect park. Ta-da! Look at that, really close to the curb. But that is it. Actually, I don't need to park here, so I'm going to move up from here, and I shall see you guys hopefully on the next daily drive. I am sure that parallel park did not help you guys at all. I don't know why I bothered doing it, but anyways, all the best, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Stop recording.